Hello everybody, this is Worthless Eagle 3 here, bringing you DAR F1 round 6 from my perspective. This was my debut round in this league and I'm using no assists for the first time in a league race. So this is pretty much my debut for everything. So when I was going into this, as you can see on the screen, I'm flicking through my setups. This is because DAR requires a specific setup that I need to use for my team. You can see I actually put the wrong setup on and then remembered that I do need that setup on, so I do change it further on if it's going to show it. So from this race I was kind of just expecting, to spin, but I was hoping for a good quali position mainly, and then the race will just play out however it does. And you can see on the screen now I do put my DAR setup on, and I'm going to go out on the mediums for the first lap, just to get my feeling. And not going to lie, when I was coming out I was fine, didn't lock up in the pit I don't think, but coming round, no one in front of me really. I had a good gap to the cars ahead, so I felt like I could possibly do a good lap in the long run. But as we actually cut now to the lap, as you can see, that's the final corner to start the lap, where we activate DRS. Good acceleration off the last corner, to be fair. I was proud of what I did. And as we come into turn 1, I do miss the apex quite a bit, but it doesn't affect me. And then we've got some traffic ahead, so we use Polo's DRS, slipstream to kind of pull us forwards. He lets us go past without any troubles. I was actually struggling. I wasn't struggling as much with this corner as much as I was when I was practicing. I was spinning every lap pretty much when I was practicing, so I nailed that corner. But this one, I think I did alright. I had my teammate ahead of me, of Jude. He lets me through, doesn't cost me any time, and you can see I don't know who actually got provisional there, but I can't remember where I screwed up. I think it was this corner. Okay, right, so I did a good lap overall, like coming into the final 2 corners. I was struggling a lot with these as well. As you can see, I'm kind of running a bit wide. Actually, I did not do as bad in that corner as I thought, and that put me P8, but at the end of it put me P14 when I came into the pits. So I was alright with that. There was 19 drivers, but then one got disqualified, I think, so it was actually 18. But as you can see, I've cut to where I'm about to go out, and I've moved down to P15 now, and I've put the softs on, and I'm going to head out with the softs. So yeah, we cut now to where I'm coming out the pits. I've got my teammate ahead of me again. I didn't realise where he was, to be honest. I saw that he was in front of me, but I looked down to try and sort out everything and, sort out my positioning in my wheel, and I almost cut into the back of him. But yeah, this is my lap. It's my second lap, and I've got one more after this. But you can see I'm greening my time already by almost a 10th, but it is decreasing for my first lap. Going into turn 3 now, we do look up a bit, but the acceleration out the corner, I had no wheel spin on the rear, so I had good traction, which is something I never thought I'd have out of that corner. Then we break at the black box, turn in, we get the apex pretty well. I feel like we did that corner good. We're still green by like 5/10, so we're improving our first lap by loads. This corner I was struggling with because I didn't know where the braking point was, so it's quite hard to judge when to brake and when to do all that shit. Ooh, shouldn't have said that. And we're coming into the final 2 corners, get wide, and I think I did do really well around these 2. Kind of hit the curve a bit on the inside, but it wasn't really that much, and it put me P13, and I moved down to P14 before I went out. I'm last on the soft runners, but I wasn't expecting much from this race because I knew that I could at least try and improve in this final run. So as you can see, I've got my teammate ahead of me again for the second time coming out of the pits, but we're P15 as you can see, and we're going through, and we actually pull over to let Digby past, and as we try and rejoin, he slows down. So we couldn't get back on the track. It was pretty annoying, but now we're going to cut on to our flying lap. This is our fastest. So as we head out, we're redding our time after the acceleration, but we did actually get a better top speed. I hit that curb really nicely. I was very proud of my first sector. I got 2 tenths up, I think. Yeah, 2 tenths up. Trying to get into the 3 tenths. Brake for this corner. I was pretty proud with like this whole lap was really good for me. It was actually one of my favourite things of this whole race. As you can see, we're coming in now. We brake at the black box. We hit the curb nicely, and that was the first time I've ever done that turn properly. So I was pretty happy with the lap, and I ran a bit wide there, like didn't hit the apex as much as I wanted to. But yeah, and there I had a little chunk of oversteer, and almost like I could have got my lap invalidated there, but luckily I didn't end up in gravel or anything. Did that corner really nice, hit the curb nice, and on the acceleration out, and we go 7 tenths faster, and it puts us in P11, which I was very happy with. And I think we actually moved down to P13, yeah, after everyone else does their lap. But I would say that P13 is not bad for my first league race doing no assists. Obviously I've done about 3 days practice, so I used to use quite a few assists, so turning them all off was quite difficult to get used to. But I didn't spin in quali, so that's something to be happy about. But now we're going to cut on to the formation lap. Well, this is the end of the formation lap. To start our race, you can see our teammate is actually P14, and so he starts behind us. So we pull into our grid slot, and then we sit here and wait. Keep waiting, and keep waiting, and keep waiting. Yeah, this I think it was a Williams that took quite long to get round. Yeah, it was a Williams. So thank you, Sam Steed, for taking forever. But we got Beatnik on our left, we got Polo in front of us, and we're about to start. We go to 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights. It's lights out, and away we went. And we actually got a really good start. We overtook Matty Mooney straight away, and in turn 1 I was going conservative. I see Jude on the inside, I didn't see him, like out of nowhere, and a Renault spins me. So we actually have another clip of this, so I put it in a more slower. You can see we got a brilliant start. Matty got a really bad start. You can see we tuck in behind Polo, and then we come in, and Jude flies down my inside, my teammate, and there's a Renault behind me, and both of the Ferraris spin. So me and Jude both round. So that wasn't a brilliant like start. I was a bit annoyed, but I was like, right, knuckle down. I've got the rest of the race, because that was only lap 1. We're down to 17th, so we're second last. But you know, but it happened, and can't really do much about it. But yeah, so now I knew I had to push on to catch the cars ahead, and actually we cut on to lap 2, and we are starting to catch, but 2 cars went off there, spun round in like the barrier, and then there was another one ahead here, so we've just gained 3 positions. We're up to P13 now, and you can actually see ahead we're actually catching Ryan pretty quickly, and as you can see, James gets fastest lap, and then Arlene gets fastest lap straight after. So Arlene looking strong in this race. But now we cut on to where we're right behind them, just a bit later on in the start of lap 3. You can see we're right behind XR Ryan. We actually get a good acceleration off the corner. We have good traction. We use the DRS. We pull over to the left. We're going to go around the outside. We brake. He brakes a lot later, but I come round. I knew I could get the acceleration off the corner. I do a perfect switchback, and he just keeps it down the inside, so I can't turn in. And I didn't see him when I turned in. I was like, oh god, hello, he's there. And he just touched my wing, and yeah, yellow wing damage. I was a bit annoyed, but for some reason, just getting wing damage, I hadn't done any like kind of practice with wing damage. So I was going around the corner, I screwed that corner up straight up, and then I took too much curve there. Oh, it was awful. I suddenly went really bad. I had Jude right behind me, he stays behind me actually until later, like the start of lap 4, he sends up the inside. I try and hold it around the outside, but I just can't get the acceleration off the corner, so he gets past me. But I'm trying to use his slipstream as well to keep me with Ryan as well, because Ryan's still quite high up. I lock up there, almost smash into the back of my teammate like he did. But yeah, it was very close at this point with us 3 drivers, and we now cut on to lap 6 at the start, where Jude actually goes for the move down the inside of Ryan, and I lock up there. I think I just didn't judge my braking enough, but we get good traction off the corner. We're now accelerating with DRS and slipstream on Ryan, and he pulls to the inside, we pull to the outside. I know I'm going to have a better kind of... I actually touch him there because I did not realise. I'm lucky to not get wing damage. You can see I'm right behind him. I don't want to go for any silly moves because, again, this is my debut. I don't really want to start beef. But run a bit wide there, but so did Ryan. And then I couldn't turn in quick enough for that corner because of the wing damage. And this is where I didn't know. Ryan pulls to the right. He comes back on. And then he takes the corner a lot better than me because he just mugged me off really. Then he runs a bit wide. My tyres are doing all right. Then I'm feeling good on my tyres. I'm not losing the rear from the tyre grip. I'm losing the rear because of my inexperience. But you can see he pulls over to the right. I try and send it, and I just misjudge the whole corner. He brakes and comes into the pits, and I've got an orange and yellow wing. So this race had instantly gone from alright to bad, and I'm P9. There's Tax that came out ahead of me. I thought, I'll try and race him, but yeah, I was so slow. You can see I'm getting passed by Matty Mumu, who I mugged off at the start, and it was just an awful moment for me. I knew this was going to be the turning point in this race, so I pit the next lap on lap 8, and I actually went 50 miles per hour, so I was very lucky to not get a penalty, because the game does that. So they have to change my front wing and my tyres. We're going on to the mediums, and this should last the end of the race. You can see Ryan's now in P13, so he's gone past us. So we have got a long way to catch if we want to be battling Ryan again. So we've actually got Beatnik ahead of us now, and I was keeping with Beatnik throughout this. When I came out, I knew the gap, and I was like, okay. So you can see I'm actually keeping the same gap every lap to Beatnik. It was about 2.3. Yeah, it was about a 2-second gap every time. And then I'm just trying to push. I'm hoping that Ryan is going slow as well, so I could gain up to Ryan again. But yeah, it's one of them things, and I don't know what happened here, to be honest. I put my foot down too early and misjudged the acceleration. That's just my inexperience with no assists, so I spun it in the wall and got red wing. So I already knew at this part this race was done. I was not going to do well. I knew that I didn't want to retire, because what kind of person would I be if I just retired from a race? Like, I could finish the race and just deal with it, or I could have just retired then and then. You can see Joe goes past me, Utah Elephant. And this is the part where I just want to cry, because I go 52 and I get 5-second time penalty. Well, 5-second stop and go. So obviously I'm like a bit annoyed now. I'm like, oh god, I've got to deal with that. I knew I was out of this fight, to be honest. I was 15th, and it just didn't go as well. That glitch where it just doesn't let you go out the pits. Yeah, it did that as well. So you can see Digby goes past, and I'm just kind of dying inside. I actually want to try and catch to Digby, and you can see I am doing so. I'm pretty close to the car ahead. I don't think that's Digby actually. It might have been but you can see I got a heap of oversteer, and Tax goes through me. But from there, I was actually keeping with Tax. Like, when he was behind me, I was keeping like good acceleration, a good gap to him. I was actually pulling away, so it's like what could have been if I'd been not spun. But it all happens for a reason, and I can get over it. We've got 5 laps left of the race. We're last, so there's not really much to fight for now, but we are still going strong because it's all practice. I mean, I actually did this corner really well for once. After like the whole race, I've finally done a good corner. You can see I'm kind of sticking with Tax. Like, he's a front runner. I'm sticking with him. So I was pretty proud of myself. I take a bit too much curve there, run a bit wide, and then I just don't know what to say. I gave up here. I was like, I just stopped braking, stopped steering. I sat there for a minute and just went, oh god, because I know what I did. I ran over the curb too much, and when I took the corner in, I went, this is gonna be bad. So right now, you can see like my driving, it hasn't changed. I'm still calm. I'm not like bashing the steering wheel about. In my head and in the Xbox party I was in at the time, I was kind of just there, a bit mad, but I knew that this race had just gone from bad to worse. So yeah, it just wasn't fun. I honestly did not want to do this. I practiced quite a lot for this race. I wanted to do well. Oh, my voice. That's what you get for talking too much. And we actually cut into the pits, and this is just, yeah, I'm gonna just stop talking right about now. Yeah, the most blatant speeding in the pit lane I've ever done. I just had an error, not gonna lie, with my whole like brain. So I had another 5-second stop go. So yeah, I was pretty annoyed. I was like, oh well, I'm not gonna win now, am I? I'm gonna finish last. So I put the softs on and I pushed for the last. I knew I'd been lapped, so I knew I had 2 laps. I had this lap and the next to just sweat out, and yeah, I knew it just wasn't going to be a good time, but I stuck with it. I didn't retire, and we actually cut now to where I'm actually battling with Ryan again. Obviously he's ghosted. Look how fast I just go through him. I was pretty proud, and obviously I'm on the softs. I pulled away, and then I just don't know what happened. Yeah, I just don't know. I just like touched the curb, and that was it. I went. So obviously I was a bit bad. I was like a bit annoyed, but I stuck with it because I knew that I needed to just not get mad, or I'm gonna keep spinning. And you can see, who is that again? Is that Digby? Don't know. But you can see on the final lap that I'm doing, I'm actually purple in second sector, and coming through, this lap was really clean, and I'm so proud, and I actually get the unofficial fastest lap, but you know, that was pretty good for me. Unofficial, because I didn't get top 10, but we finished in P15 in the end, because Digby retired, so obviously not a good race, and I would have liked to have got, you know, top 10, but well done to Arlene, who actually won the race, and then James and Tax finishing the podium. I think me and my teammate both kind of were hindered at the start because of the fact that we both got spun by the Renault, but you know, these things happen, and we just look forward to the next race where we might actually do a bit better. So yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you on Wednesday for WOR. It's streamed on Mixer of Worthless Eagle 3, so thank you.